Liverpool 3-1 Sheffield United. The Reds weren't at their best, but eventually saw off the league's bottom side thanks to a fierce strike from their man of the moment. If Liverpool do end up winning the Premier League this season, then Alexis Mac Allister's strike against Sheffield United will feature heavily in the highlight reels. Manchester City 4-1 Aston Villa. England star Phil Foden struck a superb hat-trick as Pep Guardiola was afforded the luxury of resting Erling Haaland with no need to call upon his striking talisman. GAWANG PATAH has summarized for you. Sublime Phil Foden hat-trick energizes Man City's title bid and ends England debate. Manchester City 4-1 Aston Villa. England star Phil Foden struck a superb hat-trick as Pep Guardiola was afforded the luxury of resting Erling Haaland with no need to call upon his striking talisman. No Erling Haaland. No problem for Manchester City, particularly when you have Phil Foden. With Haaland rested on the bench, England midfielder Foden stepped up to score his second hat-trick of the season and take his tally for the campaign to a career-best 21. And to think there was even a debate over whether Foden would be an automatic starter for England at Euro 2024 this summer. The 23-year-old was simply unplayable here, his goals keeping City on course for an historic fourth straight league title with win that showed their intent to push all the way. Just 24 hours after Haaland as the best striker in the world, in response to Roy Keane's criticism of the City forward, Guardiola sprung a surprise by naming him among his subs. Kevin De Bruyne was also on the bench, as Guardiola made 4 changes to the side held to a 0-0 draw with Premier League title rivals Arsenal at the weekend. Villa boss Unai Emery was forced into a change of goalkeeper, with Emiliano Martinez taken unwell during the warm-up, meaning Robin Olsen was brought into the starting lineup. City's last defeat came at Villa in December, Guardiola describing the 1-0 loss as their worst display of the season, to which they responded by going on a 24-game unbeaten run. Fourth-placed Villa arrived at the Etihad on a run of 5 away games unbeaten in the league and looking to endorse their push for a Champions League spot, but City were in ruthless mood after Sunday's stalemate. Predictably, Jack Grealish had his every touch booed by the travelling Villa fans, who have not forgiven him for leaving them to join City in a £100 million deal back in the summer of 2021. Grealish set up the first chance after 2 minutes, threading the ball through to Julian Alvarez, who hit the side netting with his angled effort. City's early pressure was turned into the hard currency of a goal after 11 minutes, Phil Foden finding Jeremy Doku, whose cross was converted by Rodri, the strike standing after a VR check for a potential offside. That should have been the platform for City to build a lead and put the game beyond Villa, but the visitors were level in the 20th minute with a superb goal on the break. After the breakdown of a City attack, Villa worked the ball up the pitch, Jan Duran scoring with a clinical angled finish after exchanging passes with Morgan Rogers. The goal bred agitation among the City fans, which spread to the pitch, chiefly with Grealish, who was booked for dissent after initially escaping a caution for a cynical foul on Douglas Luiz. Olsen produced a fine save with his outstretched right leg to deny Alvarez in the 36th minute, as City put Villa under relentless pressure in search of a goal to restore their lead. They did so in the first minute of added time, Foden winning and then converting a free kick through the Villa wall and beyond the static Olsen. City should have gone 3-1 ahead 3 minutes after the restart, but Olsen blocked a goal-bound effort from Bernardo Silva with his chest. Stefan Ortega produced vital back-to-back saves, first from Douglas Luiz, then from Duran, to preserve City's slender lead. Foden gave City the breathing space they needed in the 61st minute with a sublime first-time finish, then sealed his hat-trick with an even better strike 8 minutes later, the match winner earning a standing ovation when he came off with 10 minutes to go. Alexis Mac Allister blasts away Liverpool nerves to take Reds back top. 5 talking points. Liverpool 3-1 Sheffield United. The Reds weren't at their best, but eventually saw off the league's bottom side thanks to a fierce strike from their man of the moment. If Liverpool do end up winning the Premier League this season, then Alexis Mac Allister's strike against Sheffield United will feature heavily in the highlight reels. The Reds were stuttering and frustration was beginning to settle in against the bottom of the table blades when Mac Allister, their outstanding player in the last few weeks, speared a stunning strike into the top corner at the Kop and 13 minutes from time. Darwin Núñez had given Liverpool the lead in the first half when Sheffield United goalkeeper Ivo Grbić smashed a clearance straight at him and it bobbled in. But the determined visitors leveled through a Connor Bradley own goal as Liverpool were punished for their wastefulness. With Anfield stirring and home fans more and more concerned that crucial points would be dropped in the title race, Mac Allister fired in from the edge of the box 13 minutes from time before substitute Cody Gakpo wrapped up the win with a late header from an Andy Robertson cross. Here are the game's talking points as Liverpool went back top. 1. Alexis Mac Allister magic. Liverpool's moment of the season? That may well yet be written, but the explosion that greeted Mac Allister's goal was quite the occasion, as an evening of stress evaporated with one swing of the Argentinian's right boot. Mac Allister has been Liverpool's man of the last few months, but those months threatened to come to naught if they couldn't win this, on paper surely their easiest remaining game of the season. Stress levels at Anfield were in danger of reaching fever pitch in the 20 minutes that followed Bradley's unfortunate equalizer, but the goal, a pierced, pinpoint strike, blew those all away. 2. Sheffield United almost follow Brighton blueprint. Brighton scored inside 90 seconds at the Cop End on Sunday, but it almost took the league's bottom side less than a third of that time here. The long throws of Jack Robinson, once Liverpool's youngest ever player, are hardly a thing of subtlety, but one was enough to cause havoc in the Reds' box inside the first half a minute of the contest. And after a flick-on found James McAtee lurking at the back post, it looked for all the world as though the loanee from Man City would do his parent club a huge favor, but Caoimhin Kelleher saved well. It was a stark reminder for the Reds of their tendency to make slow starts the season, with Ben Brereton Diaz also coming close to connecting with the resulting corner. Liverpool's powers of recovery have often get them out of such situations anyway this season, but one day they may not. As for the Blades, it was an admirable show of just what they can sometimes be capable of and what was to come. 3. Darwin Núñez has bought his ticket into the team. We'll deal with the comedy first, because you couldn't miss it. Núñez certainly couldn't either. Grbić's decision to first dally and then hopelessly boot the ball straight at the big Liverpool number 9 was of course one of those moments that we'll be seeing again and again, but away from that there should be praise for the forward. Back in the dark depths of last season when he'd become the laughingstock of choice for many football fans, the forward was on the receiving end of a subtle barb from his manager when Jurgen Klopp said that the ticket into his team was achieved through pressing and counter-pressing, with the subtext being that the struggling Núñez wasn't in the team at the time. He's in it all the time now though, and as he closed down the hapless goalkeeper he might well have had his manager's words ringing in his ears, much as they will have all season. Pressing is an aspect of his game he has improved upon, and he got a reward here. 4. A reminder of Ryan Gravenberch's good and bad. It is easy to forget now, but Ryan Gravenberch was forging a reputation as an important starter for the Reds before his injury in the Carabao Cup final, which was the last time he began a game before this one. The Dutchman is a rough diamond, but also still a very young one, and won't turn 22 until the last week of the Premier League season. This wasn't a perfect return to the starting lineup, but it was one that served as a reminder of his exciting abilities, with Gravenberch frequently involved in the attacking play and almost providing the telling touch. If he stays fit, he'll be an asset for the rest of the season, although his starts may be limited until he cuts that erratic nature out of his game. 5. The Battling Blades. Where has this Sheffield United been all season then? For much of the campaign, the Blades have resembled one of the worst sides we've ever seen in the Premier League, and one that often didn't show an ounce of the fight that they displayed here. Rising to the occasion? Taking the chance to try and poop a party? Whatever it was, Chris Wilder's side displayed it to show that they will at least go down with a fight, if that is to be their fate.